my curious and playful Gemini friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. A Gemini, there is a peculiar tension woven through your days this week. It's the kind that sits quietly just beneath everyday conversation, almost invisible, yet you can sense it in the pauses. You may catch yourself holding your breath when someone asks how you really are, or feeling a flicker of doubt when life seems to demand a quick answer. There's a subtle friction between what you reveal and what you withhold, an internal dialogue that rarely finds its way to words. It isn't discomfort exactly, more like a gentle pressure, coaxing you to notice something that's been quietly growing inside. You might sense the world moving quickly around you, but your attention keeps circling back to the places where silence lingers. In those moments, it's less about what others see and more about what you sense. There's a longing for clarity, but also a hesitance to disturb the stillness. The air feels charged with possibilities, yet you hesitate to reach out and claim them. Somewhere behind your laughter, there's a quiet question waiting to be heard. This week, the emotional weather for you is not stormy, but it is charged, a low, humming uncertainty that asks for awareness, not answers. You move through these days with an instinct to listen deeply, even if you can't always name what draws your ear. The High Priestess embodies this part of you now, though you may not consciously recognize her presence. There's a part of you that seems to know more than you can say, a quiet current running beneath your surface thoughts, pulling you gently inward. You might notice this in the way your attention drifts during routine tasks, or how snippets of intuition surface in the middle of a conversation. Sometimes it's an image, a feeling, or a sudden sense that something is about to shift. You're not one to ignore the facts, but lately, you've been paying closer attention to what isn't being said, the emotional subtext in a friend's voice, the way your own body tenses before you speak, the dreams that linger after you wake. This attunement can feel like both a gift and a challenge. On one hand, it brings a sense of quiet confidence. You know when to wait, when to watch, and when to trust the subtle signals that others might overlook. But it can also leave you feeling suspended, as if you're standing between possibilities, unsure which way to lean. There's a temptation to withdraw, to keep your insights private, especially when the world seems to reward certainty and quick conclusions. You may find yourself holding back in conversation, choosing to reflect rather than react. In your relationships, this inner state can create a sense of distance, not because you don't care, but because you're searching for truth beneath the surface. You might sense that something important is about to reveal itself, yet you're not ready to force it into the open. Instead, you move quietly, observing, gathering impressions, and waiting for the right moment. The power of your current state lies in this subtle receptivity, a willingness to honor what is not yet spoken, to trust the wisdom that grows in silence. If you feel a bit removed or contemplative this week, it's not a sign of disengagement. It's an invitation to listen deeply, both to yourself and to the world around you. From this inward gaze, your path begins to form, not as a clear road, but as a series of small choices shaped by what you're holding on to. The very act of listening, of tuning into what lies beneath, naturally leads to a heightened awareness of what you value and what you fear losing. This sensitivity brings you to a crossroads where caution and self-protection mingle with the desire for connection and expression. The Four of Pentacles casts its shadow here, not as a warning, but as a reflection of the tension you feel between safety and openness. You may notice yourself clinging to routines, ideas, or relationships that have always anchored you. There's a comfort in what's familiar, especially when uncertainty lingers in the air. The outside world might seem to demand more than you're ready to give, so you draw boundaries, sometimes gently, sometimes with more firmness than you intend. The need to preserve your sense of stability can create friction. Perhaps you decline an invitation, hesitate to share a new idea, or find yourself resisting a change that seems inevitable. All the while, you are negotiating between holding on and letting go. The pressures this week aren't dramatic, but they are persistent. You may feel a subtle push to define your priorities, to decide what truly matters to you in this moment. There's a sense that energy and resources are limited, so you're careful where you invest them. This guardedness can help you avoid unnecessary conflict, but it may also leave you feeling isolated or misunderstood. Others might see your reserve as distance, not realizing it's rooted in a desire to protect what is precious to you. The momentum of the week is shaped by this delicate balancing act, honoring your need for security while recognizing the quiet urge to grow beyond your comfort zone. It becomes clear that the shape your week takes is not predetermined. The pressure to hold on is real, but so is the pull of new possibilities. How you respond to those small invitations, to moments of discomfort, to the urge to reveal or conceal, will influence what unfolds. The path ahead is neither fixed nor entirely open. It waits for your conscious engagement, for the moment you choose to act with intention rather than out of habit. Each choice, no matter how small, becomes a way of meeting the tension between safety and change. The potential of this week lies in how you hold space for both, without rushing to resolve the discomfort or deny its presence. The more you recognize this, the more agency you'll feel. When you meet this moment with awareness, something new sparks within you. The Ace of Swords appears not as a promise of easy answers, but as a gentle invitation to clarity. It's as if a fresh current of insight runs through your mind, cutting through confusion with a sudden, bright precision. This isn't about grand declarations or sweeping decisions. Instead, it's the quiet realization that you can name what matters, even if only to yourself. You might find the courage to articulate a feeling you've been holding, to ask a question that's lingered on your lips, or to see a situation in a new light. Growth, in this sense, is not about abandoning what's familiar, but about bringing your full awareness to it. You may notice that the internal dialogue which once felt tangled now begins to clarify. You recognize the difference between fear and intuition, between hesitation and wisdom. Each insight is a small act of liberation, a gentle shifting of your inner landscape. When you allow yourself to see things as they are, without embellishment, without denial, you create space for genuine change. It's not about forcing a breakthrough, but about welcoming the clarity that arises when you're truly present. In meeting the week's tension with honesty, you open the door to new possibilities, ones that feel both authentic and attainable. The invitation here is simple: trust what you know even if it arrives in whispers. All three threads, the quiet intuition of the High Priestess, the steady caution of the Four of Pentacles, and the clear insight of the Ace of Swords, intertwine to form the story of your week. You begin in silence, listening more deeply than usual to the undercurrents of your emotions. This attunement leads to a desire for safety, prompting you to hold close what is precious and to move carefully through your responsibilities and relationships. But as the days unfold, a new clarity emerges, not from forcing a solution, but from honoring all that you notice in yourself. The week is not about resolving every tension or answering every question. Instead, it's about creating a space where intuition, caution, and insight can coexist. You may not have all the answers, but you have everything you need to navigate the days ahead with grace. There is reassurance in knowing that you can trust your instincts without rushing to act, that you can protect what matters while remaining open to change. As the week draws to a close, you may find a subtle sense of resolution, not because the path is clear, but because you've learned to listen more deeply to yourself. In the quiet spaces you've honored, something essential has taken root. You are both the question and the answer, the listener and the voice. There is a kind of peace in this, even if it arrives softly like the first moment of dawn. Actionable insights for Gemini this week. There's relief in letting one small truth surface, even if only for yourself. You might gently try pausing to notice what you hold onto when uncertainty rises. Allow a single quiet moment without expectation, just to see what you sense. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I trust the quiet inside me now. Each breath brings me closer to what's real. I am safe to listen before I act. Clarity finds me, even in small ways. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.